Hi, good morning. So this is a video response to when magic doesn't work. I hope it's okay to make a video response to a joint channel like yours are. But I had 5 points I wanted to make, and instead of just cluttering up the commentator fields, I decided it was just much easier to talk into a camera. This is particularly a video response to Torn's video. So yeah, the reason I felt like I had to respond to this is that I've been talking a lot with atheists, and I very often then get the question again and again and again, if you believe that you have magical abilities, why aren't you rich? Why aren't your life perfect? Why can't you just snap your fingers and all your problems go away? And I formed some opinions around it during those discussions. And so yeah. And point number 1 is perhaps the most simple one. Sometimes things fail. What I mean by this is that for example, my mother, she is an amazing seamstress. She can sew a pair of tight-fitting jeans, she can sew a coat of fake fur, she can sew a silk ball gown. She could have been a professional seamstress, no problem. But there are times when the finished result doesn't look like she wants to, or she put a seam wrong, or she just have to give up and there's just a mass of messy fabric there. And my grandfather, he was an amazing mechanic. He was a tool maker, but he could repair anything. But there were times when it didn't work, not often, but it happened. And when I play computer games, one day I might be able to just breeze through a level, while other times I can't finish it for the life of me. I don't know exactly why at times you succeed at something and why at times you fail, but the point is, no matter how good you are, there will be times when you fail. It might be that you're feeling bad that day, or that something just disturbed your concentration at the wrong time, or any number of things. And to me, magic is just like another skill, so that the same rules that apply to mundane skills like sewing and repairing a boat engine works for magic. Sometimes it just fails. There's not necessarily a rhyme or reason to it, it just does. Now, point 2 is that, to me, everything is magic. Every thought, feeling, dream, wish, and prayer is magic. And the only thing that is a difference between us magical people and mundanes is that we know there are magic, so we can focus it better, we can do a more conscious effort at it. But I think that when people wish for something, when they dream for something, there's magic in that. That means that if somebody goes to apply for a job and they do a spell to make sure they get that job, then suddenly there are 4 other applicants, and their hopes and dreams is magic too. So when Mr. Sanderson or Mr. Smith or Mr. Olsen go around and dream of the day that they can come home to their wife and say, "Honey, I got that job, you can stop worrying now. The mortgage will be paid, it will be alright." That is magic. It might not be as focused as yours. It might not be as conscious as yours, but those wishes and dreams are magic. And as such, a lot of times when you do spells that also affect others, it is a battle of wills, and at times you will end up on the losing side of that. And that leads me a little bit into the third point, and that is, it might not always be right either, because let's say Mr. Olsen, he really needs that job because his wife is sick, and if he doesn't pay the mortgage on his house soon, they will be out on their butts. So if you get the job instead of him, you will be harming him. And I know that a lot of pagans do put fail-safes into their spells. I usually do. I add something like, let it be done if it harms none, or let none living, human, animal, or spirit be harmed by these magical actions, something like that, a failsafe. And then that failsafe would kick in if you try to get that job, and that would harm Mr. Olsen if you got it. And it might even be that, even if you don't have that sort of failsafe, magic is a lot about your subconscious, so that your own mind might nullify the magic if it feels that you're acting wrong. Or it might even be something so trivial that something in the back of your mind says, I don't deserve this. It might be completely bullshit, but still something says, I don't deserve this. And the same with other things in your life. Let's say I do a spell to lose weight, because I really could need that. Anyway, but subconsciously I'm hiding behind my fat, because it gives me a shield against the outside world. Or it is comfortable to sit and think, oh, my life will begin when I get thin. Not that I do that, but a lot of fat people do. And then, even if my conscious mind really wants to lose that weight, something in my subconscious mind might try to hold me back, and that might ruin my magic. So yeah, there might be both fail-safes put in, but also subconscious blocks that prevents you from getting a particular spell to work. Now, for my next point, that is that I think that magic very often will turn out differently than we have assumed. Especially I think this is the case if you have practiced religious magic, like for example Wiccans do. That very often the gods will give you what you need, not what you ask for. So that, let's say you ask for $1 million, but the gods know that if you get that money, it will create problems with your family. So instead, it takes that, the powers that be takes that energy you put out, and they reunite you with your estranged sister. That is still your magic working, but it's just not working the way you assumed it would. And I often find that when one of my spells fail, something else positive happens in my life. And I think that often the energy I've put into that spell is then used to create some other positive change. And I also think that sometimes it might be as easy as the magic being smarter than you. And I have a personal story about this. That was when the Nintendo GameCube, Yes, I'm a Geek, came out. I couldn't afford to buy it new, so I wanted it second hand. And I found a very good offer on online auction site. So I bid on it, and I ran downstairs and I did a spell to win that bid, and I failed. Somebody else got that Nintendo, and I was so pissed And huffing and puffing, I went out, I went to town, and I went into the second-hand game store they had there. And so as I went into the store, I asked the lady behind the counter, "Do you have a Nintendo GameCube?" And she said, "Yes, I do. One just came in an hour ago. We haven't put it in the store yet. Do you want it?" And it was the same price as I would have given for the one on the auction site. And it had the same number of games, except I could choose the games I wanted. And I could take it home that day instead of waiting for shipping, and I got a warranty, so that if something should happen to it, I could take it back to the store. So it was a much, much, much better offer. So yeah, my spell worked in that I got a Nintendo GameCube for cheap, with the same amount of games and so on, but it didn't work as much as I didn't win that particular auction that I had worded in my spell. And I think that was the magic, seeing that you will be better off with this. So yeah. And my last point before this video gets too long is that magic is an art. And as an art, it is subject to so many things. There are so many energies, there are so many considerations, and sometimes you are just, even if you calculate the numerology and the astrology and everything, you're just doing your spell at an inauspicious moment. Perhaps your next door neighbor have had one hell of an argument, and that negative energy affects your love spell. There's so many things that can affect it. Your magic doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's not like, this is Benfica's magic. No. This is Benfica's magic, and all the other energies and stuff just affect it. So, yeah, your spell can change or just plain fail because of some other element outside of your control, or some correspondence you didn't consider, or because you just plain had a bad day. So yeah, well, that was the points I wanted to mention. I hope my video didn't get too long, and I hope you are not annoyed by video responses. So have a great day, and blessed be.